Welcome back, everyone, to 30 Teams in 30 Days. Today we are doing the Cardinals, and last year in 2016 they finished 86 and 76, second place in the NL Central. Mike Maffini is their manager, and I'm not going to pronounce that last name for their general manager. But what was your predictions for last season?
Last season, I had this team finishing 89 and 72, second place in the NL Central, not the NL West.
Okay. Um, your best player?
My best player was Sung Hwan Oh. I think I pronounced that right. I hope I didn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
He had a 192 ERA, 79.2 innings pitched, and 19 saves. I think this was only his first season. Last year, I think he probably came over from Japan. I am not too sure on that, but he was a great addition to their bullpen. He's kind of old though.
Yeah, and he was a decent closer there towards the end of the year for the Cardinals. So we'll see what he can do in the closer role this year. But my prediction last season, I thought they were going to be much better than they were. I had them 96 and 66, second place in the NL Central. And best player, Almides Diaz, hit 317 home runs, 65 RBIs. Can't complain. Good shortstop. Definitely better than the shortstop they had before. What was their offseason recap like?
They lost Matt Holliday, Brandon Moss, Jerome Williams, Jordan Walden, and Brian Pena. I don't know why it was so hard to say Brian, but I guess it's the way it's spelled. Yeah, and
Wow.
then they traded away injury-prone Derek Rose, Jaime Garcia for Don Gant.
All right, and they ended up signing Brett Cecil and Dexter Fowler. Alex Reyes, Tyler Lyons, and Zach Duke are on the DL to start the season. So that was a huge loss to the team with Alex Reyes.
Yeah,
Any thoughts on that DL?
he's a pretty young prospect, and to be out with Tommy John for this entire season, it's gonna hurt their rotation as it's not a very strong rotation to start off with.
Yeah, and speaking of rotations, what's your rotation look like?
I have Martinez at the one, Lynn at the two, Wainwright at the three, Leak at the four, and Waka at the five. If this team was, formed maybe a couple of years ago, this rotation would be a force to be reckoned with. But other than Martinez, everybody else is not very good. Waka had a terrible season last year, and the other guys are kind of getting up there in age, especially Wainwright. He's like 35.
And what's your bullpen look like?
I have Weaver in the long reliever role, then Rosenthal, Cecil, Broxton, Bauman, Sygrist, and O at the closing position. So, like I said, it's the same thing with the starting rotation. If this team was formed maybe a couple of years ago, it would be a force to be reckoned with. But this bullpen is kind of past its prime.
Hmm. What about the lineup? Same story?
No, not really the same story. I mean, they have some older players, but this is a really good power hitting lineup. But that's something that I really realized when we were putting together these rosters, the lineup. So, yeah, so I have Fowler in center field at the one, and then Diaz at shortstop, Molina at catcher, Carpenter at first base, Piscotti in right field, Grichuk in left field, Peralta at third base, and Jerko at second base. Then followed by the pitcher. My bench is Wong, Adams, Garcia, Kelly, and Pham. Like I said, this team is full of potential when it comes to power. They have so many players who've hit over 20 home runs last season. So yeah, this is a really good power hitting team.
Yeah, definitely. And my rotations: Wainwright, Martinez, Leekland, and Waka. I actually think this rotation isn't that bad. Obviously, a few years ago it would have been much better, but I think Waka can rebound from his rough season. And if Wainwright stays healthy and Leak pitches decent, I think this rotation will be uh, pretty decent. My
I
bull.
think I think Wainwright's gonna like decompose halfway through the season.
Oh my gosh.
He's
All
too old, man.
right. For my bullpen and lawn relief, Luke Weaver, and then in the middle relief, I got Cecil, Bowman, and Rosenthal. And then in the setup role, I have Broxton and Segrist, and then closing, I have O. Same story with the bullpen. I think it's decent, but obviously a few years ago it would have been better. But O seems to be pretty good, and if he can hold it together, I'm sure the team will do fine. My lineup, I got Fowler in center, Carpenter at second, Diaz at short, Piscotti in right, Grichuk in left, Peralta at third, Molina behind the plate, and then Adams at first, and then obviously the pitcher. Like you said, this is a very power hitting lineup. I'm counting at least 120 home runs out of this lineup. I mean, there's a lot of players on here with 20 plus home runs going into this season, and they're probably going to repeat that. And then on the bench, I have Jerko, Juan, Kelly, Pham, and Martinez. So, what's your 2017 predictions look like?
So my prediction for this team is 90 and 72, second place in the NL Central. So one win from my prediction last year. So yeah, I think this team is good. They have a good lineup, but their bullpen and their starting rotation seems a little shaky. But if they can really pull it together, I think they will reach 90 wins easily.
And your best player?
My best player is Yadier Molina. He's getting up there in age. He's been injured a couple times his last few seasons, but I think he will return to form. He still hit 300 last season, so I think he's going to do kind of the same as he did last season.
Okay, nice. I have the Cardinals 92 and 70, second place in the NL Central. My 2017 best player, I think, will be Steven Piscotty. He's got a lot of power. He hit for a decent average last year. If he can put it together this year and bring the whole package together, I think he'll be a very powerful person in that middle of the lineup, especially if I had it my way and him hitting cleanup. That would be very good for the team and the offense, and certainly would rack up the RBIs and home runs. But I think this team's pretty decent. I think they'll win a lot of games from the Brewers and Reds and Pirates not being very good, and but they'll also lose quite a bit from the Cubs. So we'll see where they end up. Any last thoughts on this team?
Yeah, this team will probably be a playoff team, but yeah, they're not going to get past the Cubs. The Cubs are just going to. It's like hitting a stone wall. You're not going to push through that. You're just going to run right into it.
Yeah, exactly. You think this team will make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think this team will make the playoffs as a wild card spot. They with 90 wins usually typically that gets you into the playoffs.
All right. Yeah, I think they'll get a wild card spot, but you guys will have to stay tuned at the end of this to find out our playoff predictions. So that will do it here on 30 teams in 30 days. Stay tuned tomorrow for Cubs edition.